You can see the traceability from those requirements through to the tests, all the way to the defects and backwards. So if I can see, for example, here, these are my requirements that have the most defects, I can trace them back to which requirements they relate to. Inside of Spirotest, you've got a single workspace to manage all these different projects. And for each of the projects, you can manage the requirements in a simple, easy to use hierarchical organization. For each requirement, you can see the test coverage, the priority, and other key attributes. You can even show and hide columns and customize your views. When you go into the testing side of things, you can manage test cases, both manual tests and automated tests in the same system. If we drill down onto a test case, you can see the coverage in reverse from this requirement and test case in end to end. If we drill down a little bit further, you can see for every test case, we've got the ability to manage test steps and test parameters so you can do data-driven testing. When you run the test, they get put into test sets, which is the organization for scheduling. I can have different people or different machines. And when the tests execute, they do run and create test runs. They're then archived in the test run management section. And then when the tests run, sometimes unfortunately there are failures, and those failures will appear here in the incident tracking section. And the incident tracking section is a full bug tracking system that you can use to manage all of the bugs, issues, and defects in your system, or you can integrate with your favorite bug tracker as well, if you prefer. Once that's happened, you can of course track the progress of your testing activities right here in the report center. In the report center, you can generate real-time analytics with our graphs and charts, or you can generate documents and reports, PDFs, traceability matrices, whatever you need to give your executives and stakeholders their key information. Either way, with Spirotest, you have quality at your fingertips.
Thanks so much for watching today. To learn more about Inflectra and our solutions, please go to www.inflectra.com. Thanks and have a great day. Hi, I'm Adam, and I want to talk to you today about Rapise, our revolutionary AI-powered test automation tool. Rapise is a codeless test automation tool that helps your testers, whether they're manual testers, automation engineers, or business analysts, they can work together using Rapise to generate automated tests faster and easier than ever before with improved quality and higher efficiency. With Rapise, it doesn't matter if you're testing web, mobile, desktop, or APIs, you can do all in one system. And with the AI functionality, it will even take manual tests and do the automation for you. Let me show you how that works.
Well, this is Rapise, our test automation tool, fully codeless and AI powered. When you first open Rapise, you've got at your fingertips tutorials and help videos and documentation right here at the start page. Once you're ready to get going, Rapise automatically integrates with our Spira test management system. That lets you have a central place to manage all your test cases and all your test results and test runs, and it acts as a central repository. Automatically integrates with our Spira test management system. That lets you have a central place to manage all your test cases and all your test results and test runs, and it acts as a central repository. Once you're ready to start creating your tests, you can create the test either traditionally using our codeless interface that you can see right here. Every single action whether it's a user interface element or an API endpoint, together with the action and any parameters. It's completely codeless, although if you want to use code, Rapise is great because you can also take this exact same script and pop it right here into the code editor. It will convert it for you automatically. And if you've got teams that want to work together using both code and codeless, they can have both parts of the test together in one test case and work hand in foot together. That's the great thing about Rapise. You have
the man of the hour, the man of the moment, to give us the keynote address and Tezza case study presentation, the one, the only Mr. Roland Omorisemi. Please a round of applause.
Good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me? All right. I'm going to be reading. Quite unusual for me to actually read through stuff, but there's quite a bit I want to kind of express this evening. So good evening. Truly an honor to welcome all of you here, which I look at as a celebration of innovation, evolution, and resilience in the world of quality assurance. On behalf of Tezza Business Solutions and our global partner Inflectra, I want to thank each and every one of you, our clients, our partners, Inflectra, and I want to thank each of you, the engineers who are here, the developers who are here, testers and industrial leaders, for joining us as we navigate one of the most pivotal shifts in the history of our profession, which is the intersection of artificial intelligence and quality assurance. So to tell you a little bit about Tezza Business Solution, for nearly 2 decades now, Tezza stood at the front line of software quality in Africa. What began as a small team with a passion of excellence has grown into one of the QA outsourcing powerhouses in East and West Africa. From the banking halls of Nairobi to the innovation labs here in Lagos, we've been embedded in our clients' mission now, helping them scale, deliver, and stay resilient in the face of change. We've always believed that quality is not a checkbox, that it's a commitment, and that commitment has been the DNA of our company for over the last 20 years. A global partnership with purpose, which is how we refer to Inflectra. Our journey would not be complete without recognizing Inflectra, our trusted global partner. So just to tell you a little bit about Inflectra, when HP Quality Center and QTP once dominated QA, once they made the QA world, many of us relied heavily on these legacy systems, but as the tides of innovation rose, it became clear that organizations needed more agile, more affordable, and more flexible solutions that could keep pace with the velocity of digital transformation. So to talk about that, you think about Mercury Interactive, which was like the founding fathers for the quality assurance tools back then, to HP acquiring them way back in the early 2000s, to Micro Focus acquiring the HP testing suite. Inflectra answered that call. So basically, Inflectra came on just right at the onset of that move from HP to Micro Focus. So with tools like Spiral Test, Rapise, and the broader Inflectra platform, we've been able to help clients transition from rigid frameworks to intelligent ecosystems that are built for today and ready for tomorrow. From the onset, the QA and testing space wasn't ordained from a structured learning perspective. No one went to college to learn how to be a tester. We all mostly got seconded into the career we're in. This progression, though, unlike any other, like those of your software developers who knew right out of college what they'll be doing post-college, has been one of the most difficult hurdles to overcome. Why? Because we've all struggled with advocacy within our places of work. It's hard for us to get our CIOs and other IT leaders to lend their voices to our cause. Together, Tezza and Inflectra have empowered organizations across the continent to future-proof their software development life cycles, bringing speed, precision, and transparency to testing at scale. We've done this by amplifying the importance of QA and testing within the software development life cycle, speaking a lot to the need to have qualified people, leveraging preset processes and technology for ensuring quality in all we do. We're talking about the age of AI and reinventing QA. We're now entering a new age, the age of intelligent quality. AI is not here to replace QA, it's here to redefine it. We're seeing AI reshape how we identify, prevent, and resolve defects. Test case generation, data creation, anomaly detection, regression analysis, all being enhanced by learning models that adapt faster than human team could ever. But here's the truth. If AI is the brain of a digital enterprise, QA must be its conscience. Because as systems get smarter, the risks get deeper. From algorithmic biases to data privacy to ethical automation, it is our responsibility as QA leaders to ensure that intelligent systems are not just fast, but fair, not just efficient, but ethical. A quick SWOT, when you really think about the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat in today's tech ecosystem, our strength would be the cloud scalability, the DevOps maturity, the AI tooling, and robust global developer community. Our weaknesses would be the skills, the gaps in modern test engineering, the legacy system inertia, and fragmented testing processes. When we think about the opportunity, the AI-driven testing, test automation at scale, autonomous QA agents, and citizen testing through low-code platforms. And then our threats, right? When you think about cybersecurity risks, model bias in AI, test debt accumulation, and the widening gap between the business speed and QA readiness. So in closing, as we kick off tonight's conversations, demos, and deep dives, I'll leave you with this. The future of AI isn't about tests. It's about smarter ones. It's not about replacing the human tester. It's about amplifying them. At Tezza, we remain committed to being your partner in this transformation. With Inflectra by our side and with AI as our new co-pilot, we're not just keeping. Thank you for being here. Let's innovate the software lifecycle together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that profound case study presentation. Just to go right through it again, in recognition of our partners, the FinTech Association of Nigeria, FinTech NGR, our media partner, TechPoint Africa, we want to say thank you. Also, to reach out to our technology partner in the house, Inflectra Corporation, a US company, we say thank you. Yes, we see you, sir. Good evening. Thank you for making it all the way. Also, just to go right through a few other recognitions, just give me a moment. Yes. Mr. Joseph Eyitayo, Manager Tech Platform Quality Assurance Specialist, KPMG Nigeria. We say thank you for making the evening. Sadiq Yusuf, Manager Technology, National Single Window, Federal Inland Revenue Services. Thank you, sir, for making the evening. Also, in the person of Mr. Sheyi Adebayo Olubi, CEO Smart Care Healthcare Solutions. Thank you, sir. If you're here, we say thank you for making the evening. And lastly, Caesar Keloru, Partner, Head of VC, Ostoral Investment. We say thank you for making the evening. So just to go right to the next agenda of the evening, to call up on stage, keynote address by Adam Sandmar, Inflectra CEO. Going live, right? So while we wait for him to join us on a live stream, okay. So while we wait for him to join us on the live stream, let's quickly have the Inflectra video play, the Repise Test Automation Tool.
Hello. Hello. My camera's on.
Apologies for the technical difficulty. Mr. Adam will join us shortly. Please bear with us. Thank you. All right. So while we wait for that technical situation to be sorted, I would like to call on stage Mr. Sami El Asani, Intellectual Sales Manager, Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Please, a round of applause for Mr. Sami. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Can everyone hear me correctly? Fantastic. Just set up my computer. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining. I would like to thank personally our partner, local partner, Tezza. Thank you, Roland, for the welcome. Thank you, the Tezza team as well. Thank you to all the actors and partners that made this event possible. Thank you to the Radisson Blue staff as well. And so I'd like to introduce myself quickly. My name is Sami El-Hassani. I'm the sales account manager for Europe, Middle East, and Africa at Inflectra. And today I'll be showcasing you the new AI features that we have integrated to our tool. Once my computer gets set up. And walk you through the different features that we have enabled now on our systems. All right. So this is Spira. So it's our tool for software lifecycle development and management. It allows developers, QA, Scrum Masters to work cohesively and to see the requirements and testing features and capabilities in just the one tool. My CEO, Adam Sandman, who will talk later, will deep dive a little bit more into the feature of Spira. But I would like to focus a little bit more on the AI side of things. So if I just go into my requirements, so actually I could maybe show the main menu. So Spira is a diagnosis tool, if you would say, working tool for requirements, execution, test case, test management, that will make the developing, testing, and QA phase a bit smoother and a little bit faster as well. The idea that we had at Inflectra was to implement quite recently AI capabilities, which I will be able to showcase in a bit. So those are my requirements. Requirements I've been working on, exemplary requirements. And I'd like to maybe try something a bit new with you all. For example, I'm flying tomorrow, so my requirements could be something simple as book a flight from one city to another. And save that. So my requirement is here. Once created, it's empty, doesn't have any test case, any test steps, can't be executed as is. What I can do is now click on the Inflectra AI button that you can see here, and you can see I'm presented with a few options: create test case, tasks to complete the requirements, and identify risks. As you can see here, if I make this requirement a use case, you can now, and if I save, of course, Now I can generate BDD scenarios. So Inflectra AI detects automatically what you are working on and adapts to the capability of what it is able to do. So if I want to say, for example, to generate a couple of BDD scenarios for this very requirement, I'll just click on this icon. It depends on the connection, of course, but in this case, it has generated 3 different BDD scenarios. So if I refresh normally, or up there, I'll have my BDD scenarios right here. I can maybe close that so you can see better. All my BDD scenarios that have been AI generated are fully available to me to play with or to modify as needed. It's just, of course, an AI suggestion. We do require the users to still have an overview and a review of the AI generated content. For example, so you can see, of course, all AI generated content will be tagged with this AI augmented or AI generated tag. If I go in test, so I do not have a test case or test steps systems put in place just now. What I can do again is go back to Inflectra AI and ask it to develop a test case for this specific requirement. So again, it takes a little bit of time depending on the connection. But it tells me already that it's generating 4 test cases with 37 steps. So it gives you an overview. It speeds up the process of having to create those test case, those BDD scenarios yourself, which depending on the size of the organization could be weeks, maybe months at a time. So you can see the test case that have been generated right here. So if I go back in my test and refresh, and it's not working. Demo effect, of course, when you're live, it's not working. I can click directly on them. You'll have the different tests that have been created by Inflectra AI directly available to you. And here are the different steps of the test case. Of course, you can still execute them manually. We do still require the tester to do the work of testing manually. Inflectra AI doesn't test automatically the test steps or the test cases. So if I go back in my main requirement about flying away, right here. Right. So there you go. Now they popped up. So those are the test cases that were generated through Inflectra AI. If I go back in my task, I still do not have any task because I didn't create any. What I can do is still ask Inflectra AI to create those tasks, and quite quickly it's going to come up with a list of tasks to 10 in this case to work through this requirement. Again, makes life a little bit easier and faster to work as such instead of having the manual process of having a tester work through the different. There you go. So those are all the tasks that have been AI generated in an instance instead of having them to be created by a tester or user. The whole idea in general is to make life, of course, a bit faster. And if you go within a task, you can also generate code within Inflectra AI. There you go. So you can generate code with whatever language you may use. Like last time I used Python or Java, but just for the sake of the example, using Python, it will generate directly the code of the task in a highlighted manner. And the idea is to get the steps of software developing, testing, QA, the whole process from scratch to release a little bit smoother, and of course to have as much automation as possible. So here's the code for this task. And you get all the detailed view as well, of course. But those are the main features of Inflectra AI. We do, of course, as I'm showing at this moment, Spira Plan, which is our flagship solution. You do as well get the risk detection. and tracking and incident feature, which is also available using Inflectra AI. So if I go back to my main requirement, and that I click on the Inflectra AI button, if I ask it to identify risks, it's going to identify risk. And the key feature of this capacities, I like the fact that you're also able to find the mitigation. So for example, from my requirement of booking a flight from one city to another, you found that a risk could be invalid city entry during book transfer. So if I'll click into this risk that has been automatically identified by the AI, and I go back into the AI menu, now I can generate mitigations for said risk. So the whole process of finding manual risk, finding manually solutions to said risks is now completely automated by the AI. Of course, a tester still have to manually vet on what the AI is generated, but you can see it's found 7 mitigation for this risk. Of course, you can walk through all of them one by one. But the general idea of Inflectra AI is to make the testing aspect of things, the testing process, and the life of tester a little bit easier through automation. Spira, of course, has some automation capabilities. Our other tool that was presented during the intro, Rupees, also has some more performant automation capabilities. And working hand in hand, I think that the software lifecycle development tool that is Spira and the new implementation of Inflectra AI make for a great general engine to drive a little bit more efficient testing that we've seen across all industry and across all region. But those are the main feature for Inflectra AI. I thank you for your attendance, for your attention.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much again by Sami El-Sani. That is a warm presentation. So now we can have Mr. Adam Sandma's presentation, his keynote. Now, please. Yeah. Hi, Adam. Can you hear us? Yes, I can hear you now. Okay, awesome. Awesome. You can proceed.
Excited to be here and present virtually. And I've got a presentation to talk about AI, QA, and where the world is going, and what we're seeing in terms of trends in the industry, trends in the marketplace. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully this will all work. And presentation. And the slide share. Cool. So can you see that? You see that okay? It's all good? Yeah, okay, perfect. Well, again, thanks so much for coming today. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for the team at Tezza who've been organizing the event in conjunction with Inflectra. We've been working with Tezza for many years, and they're good friends of ours, and it's really exciting we can do this event. So first of all, just a little bit about me. So you know who I am. I'm actually originally, many years ago, I was a programmer, and I've been working in the IT industry for about 25 years. I used to work at a company called Sapient, doing work in banking, telecommunications, government, and various industries. And then in 2006, I left that all behind to found Inflectra. And the reason for doing that at the time was that at my old company, Sapient, there were not good tools and products for doing testing and QA. It always seemed like, and this is a story that I think is always the case, it seemed like the developers and the project managers had really great tools to do their development, testing, and building, and the developer testers were given spreadsheets and documents and whiteboards and maybe some pizza, and that was about it. So I realized there had to be a better way, and so that was the reason and the genesis for forming Inflectra those many years ago. So what I want to talk to you today, though, is not about me or Inflectra. I want to talk about AI and QA. And if you've been watching the news, AI is moving very, very fast. In fact, when I was a Sapient in the late 90s, I watched and witnessed the birth of the internet economy, the very first .com websites, the mobile internet, and I saw how quickly entire economies and how we did things changed overnight. And it does feel like right now, if you look in the news and just feel around you, AI is the same thing. It's that next major disruptive technology which is going to change how the entire world works. And I think we're still only at the beginning of that journey. So, in terms of where we are as an industry, and regardless of whether you're in banking, telecommunications, anywhere you work today, you're going to see generative AI. In fact, yesterday I was in New York City for the Amazon Web Service Summit on AI. We're a partner of Amazon, and it was amazing some of the stories they do and use cases of how AI is being used in every industry, from medical to telco to banking, you name it, insurance. Generative AI is being used to reshape the world. So, what do we see in the economy? Well, if you look back maybe 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, when ChatGPT first came out, it seems like a long time ago. Everyone has been going after the low-hanging fruit, and these were things like coding assistants. The very first co-pilots came out. A lot of people have been using AI for digital marketing, writing blogs, creating videos, turning videos into blogs, summarizing blogs to make social media content. A whole bunch of marketing use cases have come about. And we've seen the rise of chatbots. So that could be a chatbot in your development tool, your testing tool, could be a chatbot on your website, could be in Gemini if you're using Google. Everywhere you go, there's some kind of AI assistant which through a chatbot, which works to some degree better or worse depending on how it was done. Okay. It sure is. Someone called me. Everything's okay. Okay. So, I thought everything's still working good. Okay. So that's phase one, where we are, where we were today, where we were previously. So where are we next? Phase two, we call these the higher value activities. You may have seen vibe coding is now a thing. That's basically using AI to write applications. So instead of humans writing applications, developers creating code, instead of that, we're basically having machines to do that. And we're basically going to be using AI to modernize IT. And for example, a tax authority in the United States had a lot of big COBOL applications. Many banks around the world still use COBOL. Many airlines still use COBOL. A lot of mainframe technology. And it's been too expensive to migrate that to modern technology. So AI can do that. And AI can do it by rewriting the entire application. Or we have people, customers and partners who are moving their applications to the cloud. And they want to make them not just lift and shipped, but make them cloud native. But it's expensive. It's many, many hours and maybe weeks and months of person hours to actually do that. With AI, it can be done very easily. So we're seeing these higher value activities using AI. But until now, it has still been largely a human directing AI as an assistant to do that. And so I would say where we are as of the last month or so, very recently, is phase three. And really it's around agents. And it's the rise of agentic AI. And if you talk to anyone in AI today, they're not going to say generative AI. That feels very 2024. It's now agentic AI. And what does agentic AI mean? It means AI is not just your assistant, it's actually an agent. So, and a good example would be people have been using generative AI to do things in their personal life. For example, I know people who've been using AI, generative AI, to write a travel itinerary. So basically, that means I want to go visit. I want to come to Lagos and visit. Maybe hopefully next time we do this event, I'll come in person. I would go to ChatGPT or some tool and say, write me an itinerary. I want to do some business travel, meet with Roland and the team. I want to go see some of the tourist sites. They would do the itinerary for me. It would write it for me. That's generative AI. Agentic AI will book the flights for me, book the hotels for me, and it will be my actual assistant doing everything for me in real time. So that's where we're moving to. AI will not just be writing content, it won't be answering chat inquiries and then handing it off to a human. It will start to do some of these tasks. And how do we make all these agents talk together? Well, that's where we're seeing this new set of middleware, things that help agents talk to other agents, so that the credit card agent and the banking agent can talk to the airline agent without necessarily a human being in the middle. And these technologies are called middleware. We had those in the old days of technology, but now it's for AI agents. And it's things like MCP, A2A, and ACP. And the one that we are most familiar with, and you're probably most familiar with, is MCP. MCP is a tool that lets a agent, a tool that you're communicating with, do other things. So, and it lets them communicate. And there's some examples we have in Inflection, which I'll talk about when we get into more about testing. But QA agents exist. So that way, when you're working in a QA environment, you might need to get data from somewhere else. You might need to get your requirements and test cases, like Sammy showed you with Inflection AI. But you might not be in Spira. You might be in Visual Studio. You might be somewhere else. Wouldn't it be great if you could call Spira as an agent to do things for you, but not leave where you are? That's what MCP can do. It lets different agents talk together. Think about the testing implications of this, however. If this stuff starts to go wrong, you've got autonomous computer systems all over the world doing things with very little human oversight. What could go wrong? Do we need testing? I think so. So that's what people are looking at is the future. To me, it's a very amazing and powerful future, but it's very scary. If we do this badly, we could have computer systems going completely rogue. And then the second problem is, not only do we have the potential for these agents to go rogue, but now more and more people are using developer tools in particular to write code. And so if we're developing more and more code more quickly, I can write a requirement, for example, using the latest tool called like Cursor or Kiro, and I can give it some requirements and tell it to build the application. I get a whole application. Well, if you remember 3 or 4 years ago, we never had enough testers to test the human-created code. How are we going to test all of this human/computer together augmented, generated code? I don't know how we're going to do it. So that's one of the other big challenges. AI systems are hard to test. There's bigger risks if things go wrong, and we're making more and more software more quickly. This is like a nightmare. And they actually did a study, and they said that with Copilot type tools, and humans not using tools like Stack Overflow to write the code, but actually just using agentic tools, there's a 300% increase in quantity and a 400% decrease in quality. And that is a huge issue. So we're going to have more and more bad code rolled out into production that's going to be able to work autonomously with other really bad code and do things in real time with no human oversight. That sounds like a Hollywood movie, not necessarily a good one. So how do we deal with this? So I think we have to rethink about testing and QA, because QA cannot keep up with this new future the way we've done things before. Traditionally, we've done manual testing, where we do a test an application by hand. We might do exploratory testing, where we give it to someone without instructions to find things that may have been missed. And then we manually code, we manually script automated testing. So think of that for a second. We call it automated testing, but it's humans writing scripts to do the automated testing. I think all three of those things are going to change dramatically, and they are already. So I think we're going to have to move away from those kinds of things. We're not going to be manually doing testing, as in clicking through an application. We're not going to be manually writing scripts using Playwright or Selenium. We're not. We're not going to be just finding bugs and doing exploratory testing in our leisure time in between those other tasks. There's going to be a massive change. So what I think we are going to see instead is using AI to catch up with development and maybe move even faster. So we're going to need to have technologies where AI can help write the tests. And I think more importantly than writing the tests is the first one. Having AI help us fix the tests. Like, how many times do we write tests and then they break because someone changed something? If the application is changing all the time, with Vibe coding, the application is different every build, maybe. The whole page is different, not just one bit. How do you test that? How do you make the tests last? So we need resilient tests. So AI is going to be used to do that resilient testing. We can also begin to use AI to do exploratory testing. If you use some of the latest, most expensive models like Claude Sonnet or OpenAI Operator, and it can actually look through the screens visually. It's not using locators or Playwright or Selenium. It is looking at the page graphically like a human, and it's inferring what to do. So instead of saying, log into the website, click on the link in the navigation, and create a purchase order and save it, you would just tell it, log in and create a purchase order. It will figure out the rest, and it can do this already. Now, it can't do it for very complicated applications. It's still trivial, but we're going to get there. So we're going to be using humans training machines to do testing, not humans doing testing by themselves. I think that is the future. Oh, sorry, that way. So let's talk about what's real and what's hype. So first of all, let's talk about what's real. I think that's more important. First thing is, we can use AI today to start to prioritize what tests should we be running based on risk. Sammy showed, I think, in the Inflectra AI demo, we can now generate risks and mitigations in Spira, our platform, and we can then tie those risks back to test cases and understand where's the most important test to run to reduce the risk. The next thing we're going to hear about is this new concept of the digital human. We're going to have a human-computer team. It's going to be humans and digital agents working together to do testing, to do quality, to do risk management, to do everything in the software development lifecycle. It's going to be this new human-digital team, which is a new thing. It's agents working with humans, not just humans using a co-pilot. I think documentation and requirements are going to become much more important again. If you remember the Agile Manifesto has often been misquoted as saying that we don't need documentation, we need code. Working code over documentation is in the Agile Manifesto. I think it's all going to change completely backwards. Code doesn't matter anymore. We don't care about the code. We need the documentation, we need the requirements, we need the specs. At the keynote at Amazon in New York 2 days ago, they showed a system where you can give it a spec, push a button, and you get an application. But if you haven't got a good spec with good requirements, good documentation, you've got no application. So I do think the agentic development tools are going to mean we're going to need really good documentation to build the apps. And guess what? We're going to need that very same good documentation to test the apps. Are we still? The screen just went off. Can you still hear me okay? Okay. It's okay? Should I carry on or wait a second? Okay, go ahead. Thank you. Sorry. You can see me. I can't see you, but that's okay. I don't need to see you. And then the next thing is, as Sammy was showing you in the demo, AI is going to hopefully speed up a lot of the really terrible, boring tasks that we have to do. How many times are we spending time opening bugs, closing bugs, adding comments, project management tasks, risk management? There's a lot of bureaucracy with software development that hopefully we can fix using AI as well. So that's, as well as making the testing and the development faster, let's also help the poor old project manager out, the product owner, the people who do a lot of the work to keep a project on track, help them plan better and execute better. But what's hype? What's not real? If you go on LinkedIn right now, there are plenty of people saying you can basically completely test an application autonomously. What they're basically saying is you don't need the human in the human machine team. You just need machines. And that's not true. And they will show you a demo, and I can show you a very simple demo too. I can give you an application with a few screens, and I can give it to Anthropic Claude, and I can say, test this application, do these things. And it will do it reasonably well. If I give it any application that's anything more complicated than basically Hello World, it doesn't work. Not yet. It doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know the application because it doesn't have good documentation, doesn't have good specs. it just knows enough because it's seen enough basic web pages to do some very basic things. So it can do some basic things autonomously without humans. Right? We're not there. We're getting there, but we're not there yet. So the next thing I would say is, are we going to have general purpose AI doing everything for us? Again, not yet, and maybe not ever. We're definitely going to have AI working with humans to do things differently, but we're not going to have the AI testing everything, doing all the risk management, doing all the project tracking, doing all of the validation. I think what you're going to see is humans being much more concerned with quality and machines concerned much more with testing. And we often confuse QA with testing. I think that's the mistake in our mind. We always think of QA means testing. Well, it used to. In my mind now, it does not. QA means what is the quality of this application, and I've got a team of humans and machines working with me. They will do a lot of the testing. I care about the quality. Quality is a much bigger thing. Quality is how is the application developed? What were the requirements like? How we, what code do we generate? What risks do we find? It's a much bigger topic. So you're not going to just point a swarm of agents, as they call it, at an application, push a button, come back, and it's all done, and you can go home. It's not going to be like that. But it's going to be a different team doing different things. And many people, unfortunately, keep telling me this, that, well, my kids are going to college to learn computer science. They should just become plumbers. I've heard this. I've gone to conferences all over the world the last 6 months, and everyone seems to be like, should I just become a plumber? So I don't think so. I think we have new jobs to do. It's going to be interesting and exciting. I think we have to learn new skills. We have to learn how to use agentic tools. We have to learn how AI thinks. We have to understand what AI is good at. We have to understand what AI is bad at. Because, again, what stands between AI and chaos is probably the QA community. The QA community is like the last bastion of defense between what could be a great future with AI or a terrible, chaotic outcome. So, with that being said, at Inflectra, we believe very strongly that AI is there to help our users, testers, developers, scrum masters, as Sammy mentioned, and we want tools to help you do the job better, reduce risk. So we have functionality that basically works with people to change how they do testing, generate test cases. It's a really boring manual task. Identify risks. It's going to find risks you would have missed. We've got tools to write test cases automatically using the test scenarios. Who wants to be clicking around writing Selenium scripts? No one. It does all that for us. Doesn't replace us, but helps us do our job better. And also some of the new functionality that's going to be coming will be to look at historical trends in the system and say, based on historical analysis, we think you should be worried about these three things. These are all tools that are going to help us become better. That's going to help us work to keep up with the pace of innovation. I always remember in the late 90s, there was talk of email and new technology resulting in no need to work anymore. We'd all be working three days a week and 6 hours a day. It never happened. The more we threw technology at things, the more we realized we could do more things and there was more work. So I truly believe that's going to be the case again. But the work will be different. And if you think about how that's going to change how we do things, I think a really important thing is we're going to start with requirements again. The whole Agile Manifesto has really, I think, made us think requirements are a bunch of user stories that are very, very light. I think we're going to go back to much more sophisticated requirements. We're going to use AI to get the requirements right. We're going to use AI to get quite complex specifications. We're going to hand that over to the AI to do the coding. We're then going to do the testing and debugging using tools. We've got it's integration, CI/CD deployment, but QA is going to be much, much more important, and development is going to be much more of, I think, a robotic task that is being done by machines. And QA is going to be looking at the code, making sure it's of high quality, but not writing the code. So I do think we are going to see a change in the flow in how things work, and this is how the flow is going to look like. Much more requirement-centric. AI is right there in the middle, building these apps with us, for us. Hold on, next slide. And just to quickly give you a little bit overview of Inflectra, the company, we've been partners with Tezza for quite a while, since, almost since the founding of the company, we've been working together. But just for a little bit about the background, at Inflectra, we believe that we can work with customers in the banking, telecommunications, healthcare, supply chain, logistics, very complex industries where they're heavily regulated. At the same time, everyone is trying to do more quickly. agile, speed, faster, get into production faster. We have to respond more quickly to beat our competitors or to be successful. So we have these two issues. We want speed on the right, we want quality on the left. And we believe that we can bridge that gap because you can have both. A lot of people think you can only have quality or you can have speed. And I think that is a false decision. You have to have both. You can't, if you wait too long, you'll be out of business. If you wait too long, people, with a self-driving car, someone's going to deliver it anyway. If we don't test it, we don't deliver it, someone else will beat us to it. So we have to have speed to keep up with our competition, to deliver value to our customers. But we have to have quality because otherwise our customers won't use our products and will go to a competitor. So we can do both. And the Inflector Suite really bridges that gap between quality and speed. And another thing that's very important to us is we don't want our customers to be system integrators. We want them to use our products. So our products come with over 80 integrations, multiple migration tools. So whatever platform you're using today, or whatever platform you're using Jira, Azure DevOps, GitHub, GitLab, you pick your favorite tool set. We integrate with almost all of them, and we maintain that, we support that, so that we don't want you to have to do all that work. That's our job. And so it makes it a very easy to use platform, very easy to integrate with everything else going on in the organization. And the other thing I just wanted to mention, as I alluded to earlier, we have been working for 19 years or so with Tezza, with Roland and his team. That partnership goes very deep. We've been working in the banking sector, telecommunications, energy sectors with Tezza in multiple countries with multiple clients. And what we find is a tool is even the best tool, and they are pretty good, is only as good as the team and the ability to use them in the right way, and the training, and also to understand the best ways to make a business process work. And when you have a partner like Tezza, they've come into our clients who may have had the tool for even several years, and they've struggled. They haven't maximized the value, and that's one of the worst things when you build a piece of software, whether it's me building it or as we got bigger as a company, the team building it. The worst thing is people not fully using it and not getting all the value or getting frustrated. I mean, no one wants to have having people frustrated, not getting value. And so by having a partner like Tezza, it's really enabled our customers to get to value faster. Because people will always ask us, how quickly can we get the software up and running? And I can tell them, well, you can get it up and running in probably a week or two. But to get value out of it, that's a whole different question. And that can take months. But if you've got the right partner, it can take much less time. So I would like to say we really appreciate the team, the Tezza team. We've worked with them very closely on many projects. They're a trusted partner in the region, and we look forward to doing more business with them and really growing the customer base and working with everyone in the room here to help you do better. We want our tools and our partnership to really help you succeed, deliver software better at higher quality and speed for your customers. Because if you succeed, we succeed. That's ultimately the way it is. And so with that, if there are any, I know we have a question and answer session later, so I think, are we doing the questions then? I'm happy to take a few now if there are any, but otherwise we can do it later.
Okay. Quick one.
So
Yeah, thank you. Let's go right to it.
So
All right.
any questions? Or are we
Any
gonna run
questions
the
for
panel?
Adam during the panel? Okay. Thank you, Adam. So right now we're going to go into the panel session, and I'm sure there will be questions to wrap it. So quickly, just a moment. Okay. So to kick off the panel session for the AI meets QA, our moderator for the evening, Daniel Yang. Daniel Yang. All right. Daniel Yang is the ventures planner and business development strategist, serving as director of business at Tezza. He also assists the CEO with business planning, strategic partnerships, and project planning for other portfolio interests. Daniel started his career at the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, handling PR and stakeholder engagements, and has held different positions, including recently as country manager at Everything Media. Daniel enjoys helping SMEs and startups to launch go-to-market, as well as provide business planning, pitch development, and investment readiness consultancy. He is also a business mentor for Tony Elumelu Foundation. Daniel holds an MBA from the University of South Wales, United Kingdom, and a bachelor's degree in English and literature from the University of Lagos. He is an associate registered practitioner in advertising in Nigeria, licensed by ARCON, a chartered member of the Nigerian Institute of Management. Thank you, Daniel, for joining us this evening. To go next to our panelists, I'll call in the person, the one and only, the CEO of Tezza, Roland Omorisemi. Please join us on stage. To give you a bit of a background, Mr. Roland Omorisemi is a seasoned IT strategist and an accomplished entrepreneur with over 2 years, decades of founding and leading firms in the IT, marketing, hospitality, and interior design sector. He has proven track record of driving growth, fostering innovation, and leading high-performance teams to deliver exceptional client results. Since 2009, Roland has served as CEO of Tezza Business Solution, which he founded. Under his leadership, the company has achieved significant milestones, including a 50% revenue growth within 2 years. Prior of founding Tezza, Roland has business development director at Publicis Sapient, where he led award-winning teams. With deep expertise in IT, Roland specializes in helping organizations bridge the gap between internal and external stakeholders. He ensures that businesses have a clear understanding of customer experience, enabling them to refine their strategies for maximum impact. Through his leadership and strategic insights, he continues to shape the future of digital transformation and IT solutions. Thank you, Mr. Roland. Next, we have Mr. Sami El Asani. Mr. Sami, who just gave us a presentation, he is the sales account manager of Europe and the Middle East Africa of Inflectra, where he plays a pivotal role in expanding the company's presence across this diverse and dynamic region. With a strong background in business development and customer success, Sami brings a wealth of experience to his role. He holds bachelor's degree in English language and literature from the University of Western Brittany in France, which has strengthened his communication skills and ability to engage effectively across cultures and regions. After this, he began building his career in sales, business development, and customer success across the tech and service industry, working with international clients and helping organizations grow through tailored solutions. In his current role at Inflectra, Sami is focused on delivering impactful solutions and driving growth across the EMEA region. His consultative mindset and dedication to customer success makes him a valuable member of the Inflectra team. Next on our panel list, we have Mr. Adam Sandler, who just gave us his keynote presentation. Just to give you a bit of a background, Mr. Adam Sandler is Sandman. He's the founder and CEO of Inflectra. He has been working in the... Okay. Sorry for the technicalities. Again, just to go over it. He has been working in the IT industry for the past 25 years. His areas Yes. His area of expertise spans software architecture to agile development, software testing, software automation, and project management. He is interested in technology, business, and enabling people to follow their passion. At Inflectra, Adam is responsible for researching the tools, technologies, and processes in the software testing and quality assurance space. Adam is a prolific speaker whose speaking engagements range from Star East and Eurostar to STP Cons, Dev Gig Week, Swiss Testing Day, to India, Star Canada, Testing Mind, Agile DevOps West, and Star West, TestCon, JF. Oh, wow, this is a lot of tech, and many more. Thank you, Mr. Adam. Welcome to the panel. So, I will hand over the mic to our moderator, Mr. Daniel Iyang. Please take it away.
Thank you so much, Tori. Good evening, everybody. It's been a very quiet evening. All right, so first of all, thank you so much for coming around today, and I will just kick it off with, I think, first of all, with Adam. Can you hear us? Oh, okay. So I'll start with someone that's live. Yeah. So today we're talking about AI meets QA. So I'll go straight into it and just ask the founder and CEO of Tezza, the person that ensures that I have money to wear a red cap. So Roland, how does Tezza handle software testing on projects with a very short deadline? Now, this question came from someone called Fumilayo Adebanji from Traction Apps.
Thanks for a very important question here. I think testing should be driven from the context of risk at all points. So whether it's now where we have AI or even when we didn't and things were manual, I think the most important thing when you test is determining what's the most important thing, and that could be based on all of your risk factors, the cost involved, whether it's sensitivity to life, and of course working with your clients. They're going to point out to you what's most important to them. And from a company's perspective, we're looking at all the requirements that are in scope and then determining based on risk, what's going to be tested first. And what needs to be tested first can either be based on capabilities that we want to roll out, either as part of an MVP. We're looking at cost implications. We're looking at, risks as it relates to either loss of life or whatever it might be. But when you have deadlines to meet, the most important things have to get tested first, and determine what's the most important thing. Is it going to be based on you having people there to tell you the requirements that you're reading, or value attributes that have been assigned to each of those requirements?
Thank you so much. I'm going to ask Sami quickly this question around someone from FCMB sent in this question. How is Inflectra leveraging AI just to enhance predictive quality assurance? And this is across the software lifecycle, particularly in detecting defects earlier on and improving test coverage in complex enterprise environments.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for the question. So, not being very technical myself, I wrote the answer in advance. I wasn't a good student, but always did my homework correctly. So to answer the question, Inflectra AI uses ML to predict risks, suggest targeted tests, and auto-generate test cases from the past data that has already been implemented and the user behavior to predetermine a targeted solution or trajectory, if you would say, to complete the, and I'm losing my words, my bad. Sorry, let me just rephrase the question. So, how is Inflectra leveraging AI to enhance predictive quality assurance across the software lifecycle, particularly in detecting defects earlier and improving test coverage in complex enterprise environments? All right. So as I was saying, yes, so using the ML to predict the risks, suggest a trajectory, and then execute a list of targeted actions to resolve the solution. I hope that answers the question. Adam, of course, if you want to jump in and complete the to bring more precision, feel free, of course.
Adam, can you hear us? If you can hear us, say amen. He can't.
Yeah, it's hard for me to hear what's being said, so I can try and connect to the live stream. I think you can hear me very well. It's very hard to hear what's going on in the room.
Correct, I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me okay? Okay, hold on. Because So what was the question? Just on the it was hard to hear the question on the panel.
The question is around how is Inflectra AI, or how is Inflectra leveraging AI to enhance predictive quality assurance?
Okay, thank you. That's very helpful. So with Inflectra AI, I want to first say that what we showed you today is just the first steps in that journey of AI. What we do today is we take limited information that you saw, like a requirement or a test, and we can use that to generate more information like risks, test steps, test scenarios, Gherkin syntax. We can do a lot of very, very easy and interesting things, but that's really not the goal. The goal for us is to go much deeper. So what the intention is that when you have a project or a system, there's so much information that we already have. We have inside of our Sparrow platform and any tools you're using, we have all the requirements, we have the specs, we have all the code, we have the commits, the code history, we have the project delivery, we've got customer feedback. Think about everything that goes into the software that you're building or testing today. Not just the code, not just the requirements, but all the context, customer support tickets, how many times the bugs appear in the same section. What we want to do is take all that information and put it into what's called a vector database. It's designed for ingesting information and allowing predictive AI insights. So what we're doing with Inflectra AI is going to be using all that data, and not just the data, but the relationships between the data. Because what we might find is that one particular part of the system is generating 80% of all the issues. Or maybe there's historically been code that is not necessarily as well developed in maybe from many years ago that's been causing a lot of the problems. So using AI to find patterns where we as humans aren't very good at finding those patterns. We're naturally intuitive thinkers. When you're a human, you go to a nice, pretty dashboard like the ones we have in our tool, and it gives you some graphs and charts. However, what's much more interesting to me would be, what if the AI sifts through all that data in the system, in the project, and it finds something that we've never seen before, an edge case, a race condition. Maybe there's a performance bottleneck that was buried 4,000 lines dip code into something. So AI, I think, can really help us improve test coverage, improve predictive analytics. But to do that, it needs a lot of data. Find ways to take all this project data, and it could be terabytes of data, and we have to find ways to make it manageable for AI. And I think that's one of the problems with AI right now is everyone's looking for quick wins. Everyone's building the chatbots and simple use cases. But if you don't have a good data strategy around AI, you're building a castle on the foundation of sand. And I think that's the thing. So what our focus on is really having really good data from all the projects, traceability, requirements, tests, everything. We read that really good data, and that's when you'll get good insights, is my opinion.
All right, thank you so much, Adam. Before you go, I'd like to ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
Can AI be used to write test scripts? That's number one. Number two, what are the key trends that we see in the use of AI in quality assurance and, of course, test automation?
AI can be used to write manual tests. I think Sammy showed you that earlier. That's pretty straightforward. AI can also take a manual test and it can write automated scripts. And we can do that already in our automation tool, Rapise, as long as it sees the application. The problem is, when the application changes, you have to then redo that. So I think, and then so that's the first question. Yes, we can write test cases. Yes, we can write automated test cases. And even, yes, we can help maintain them more easily. I think what we're seeing is even more interesting, where AI is really going to help, is AI can begin to understand applications. Let me tell you how, I'll give you maybe a scary example of this. Microsoft has released something called Replay, Total Replay. It's in a lot of the new computers in Windows 11. It's able to watch every single action you're taking. It's telemetry on every app. So it knows how you're using Outlook. It knows how you're using Excel. It knows how you're using Microsoft Word. Microsoft's using that to feed back into OpenAI Operator so that you can tell Operator, test Microsoft Word for me. And you don't have to tell it what Word is. You don't have to tell it what the test cases are. You can just say, is Microsoft Word working? And it will go, I know what Microsoft Word is. I have watched 10 billion people use it over the past 6 months. Let me see if it's working. Oh no, we found a bug. Back to what I said earlier about the hype versus the reality. As the data gets better, AI is going to get smarter, and it can do a lot more things autonomously. So I think that's where AI is going to be able to help. But it needs to understand the applications you're testing. And then AI can do a lot more than just writing test cases.
Thank you so much, Adam.
You're welcome.
So, Roland, I want to come straight to you. And the question is looking at the overview of quality assurance in Nigeria, the current market where we are. So how do you assess the current state of quality assurance among enterprises in Nigeria?
Well, I would say different maturity levels. You have organizations that over time knew the importance of adapting technology or incorporating technology into their workflow. And within the software development lifecycle, they had quite a, how would I call it? The respect for quality assurance and testing is quite prevalent. So the organizations who knew the importance of that and carved out enough time for their testers to add value through the process. But what I've noticed over time, and guys, please, if you want to talk, we'll pass the mic, because I need you guys to be able to either support me and hopefully create awareness for the kind of problems we face within our realm as testers. Testing is mostly an afterthought in most organizations in Nigeria, especially those that we've dealt with. And a lot of times it's almost like a checkbox. Like, we need to check it off that this was tested, and so, but to the extent that the QA function is solicited and engaged from the onset of even the inception of an idea, so all the way down, whether you're using a waterfall methodology or agile, whatever your methodology might be, like having that thought process that quality and testing has to be at the table. I would say we're probably very far from that. And only a few organizations actually carve out that respect and that seat at the table for testers. Am I lying? So, and I think it even goes as far back as our thought process around career. How many of you studied software testing in college? They had software testing as a degree program in your school? Okay, so I don't think any of us here went to school and had a full-blown curriculum where we studied testing as something we're going to graduate and do. A lot of us got seconded into the field. And not to minimize our journeys here, but if you were looking at the organizations that we have in Nigeria today, they're led by people who went to school. If we're talking about within the technology space, a lot of them studied computer engineering, computer information systems, and only maybe 1 hour of testing or 1 hour allocated to quality assurance and testing within their curriculum. So by the time they become leaders and they're within these organizations, I think that also impacts how much time is allotted or accorded to QA. Now, what's so crazy about it now is the fact that with the AI proliferation and the need to actually adopt it, when we've not accorded much time to QA and testing over the years, a lot had been left to being done manually. Most of us still use Excel. How many of you still use Excel in your organization? You can raise your hand, it's okay, we're all cool here. So a lot, right? How many still use Word, like Microsoft Word? So how are you then going to use AI when everything you've done is stored manually? So, so the whole essence of AI will be being able to leverage existing data and be able to make decisions very quickly and help us speed up and reduce the amount of time that we spend doing manual things today. So going back to your question, I would probably say QA, as it's formally done, I'll probably say almost like an infancy stage for most organizations in Nigeria, if you wanted to really categorize how we do it. So meaning, I was at the table at inception. I had a say as in how much time needed to be alluded to testing. I had a say as in a go, no go. We got to a point in the development and I said, hey, based on the issues that I found, you can't go to production. How many of you can stop your code from going to production as a tester? Can you put your foot down and say you can't go to production? Which company are you with? Okay. So that has to be, that's an anomaly, right? How many of you in your organization can say, boss, we can't go to production because we still have 30 defects? Huh? So it's almost like a checkbox, right? So I think quite a bit is still needed to be done to give us credence as a people and as a career. And as we're moving towards AI, a lot of us still have to move, with the mind. And I was hoping that a lot of our leaders will be here because there's a tremendous value that we add as a people and as a movement within the software development lifecycle. And until we start to have a voice at the table, AI may actually come and pass us by. Because if you're still using Excel today and you don't have a tool like an Inflectra that helps you collate data that you can then build on, because you have to start from test management. They can get us to go to test automation. They can get us to do performance testing at some point without having formalized testing. So meaning when the crap hits the roof and performance degradation happens in an application, they can bring in a vendor to come do performance testing to get a check off, like, hey, you know what, the application is doing better. Or they can, you know how you have a shiny penny? In the US, we call it a shiny penny when you introduce a new idea and makes you feel like you're doing really well. They will introduce automation, or someone's coming and they're going to do Selenium, blah, 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 and it's just like a splash in the pan, but it doesn't, impact your overarching strategy for the organization until we actually go back to the drawing board and look at what QA and testing, what it needs to be like, and have it play its own major role within our software development lifecycle. I would still say we're in an infancy stage. And then AI is still just like a coined word for us around where QA is involved, because everything we're doing for most of us today is still manual. Make sense? Are we in agreement?
So infancy stage, we're still manual, very manual. We are going to take questions from the audience. But before we do that, please, we're going to take questions from the audience. Before we do that, I want to ask Sammy a question around data privacy. So how is Inflectra addressing data privacy and compliance in AI features, especially when used in regulated industries, maybe like healthcare or something?
Of course. So we're all aware of the different legislation that we have, especially in EMEA. We have the GDPR. We have at Inflectra we do have actually SOC 2 compliance. So the data that is collected by the AI model that you're using into your instance is based on your own instance. So there is no data that is leaked out of your own instance. Each instance of Inflectra, each Spira instance, get its dedicated AI model. So there's no leaking of information or your data being collected during your usage. I hope that answers the general question.
All right, thank you. The audience would ask you and would judge on that. So we're going to take 5 questions. So please, to ask your question, just say, my name is this, I am from this company, then your question. So we're going to take 5 questions. Please, can we have our hands up?
That's one.
One person there. Second.
2, 3, 4. And
okay, let's start with the first.
Are the ladies shy? Okay. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Anon Fonudorum from Sanlam Alliance Insurance. In the past 5 years, we've retired 2 applications and also launched a new enterprise solution too. So the issues we are having right now is in terms of the quality of software. So right now, testing software is different when you get to production, especially when dealing with migrated data. So my question is, what are the capabilities within Inflectra AI in handling exceptions and errors which were never covered during the testing and quality assurance, especially in production environments, to ensure speedy issue resolution?
And I don't know that that's just for Inflectra. So you've gone through your development lifecycle, you've tested, and you've rolled out your code into production. Now you have issues in production.
Correct.
And you're wondering what capabilities this tool has to help you deal with such issues, right? Is that it?
Sure.
So I'm not sure that there's any tool out there that deals with or has special capabilities for finding issues in production outside of what you should have done before the code got into production anyway. The code needs to be tested. For example, you're going to find an issue. The issue is reported. You're going to remediate the issue. You're going to do your confirmation test. You're going to roll it back, right? Or do confirmation, do your your regression, your confirmation, and roll it back, right? What Inflectra will enable you to do basically is collate your test cases, help you write your test cases, help you document your defects. From an automation perspective, Rapise may help you speed up the process from an automation scripting perspective, but it's not going to help you any different than it would have helped you before production. Am I making sense? And am I addressing your question?
Yes, that's fine. But asking, are you saying 100% that you can be able to identify all test scenarios?
You can identify all test
These
scenarios.
are the exceptions I'm talking about.
All test scenarios, well, you have your requirements. So, and through your requirements and hopefully working with your stakeholders, you should be able to identify the scenarios that are necessary to validate, items that you need to roll into production or items coming out of production. And with AI, and I know with Inflectra today, you're able to generate, it's able to tell you the types of test scenarios you need to validate based on what you tell it you want to do. Am I making sense?
That's fine.
Am I making sense to you, though?
Yes.
Okay.
And I could add some more into this as well, if that will be helpful. In terms of what Inflectra AI can do, as I mentioned, we're on a journey. So currently what Inflectra AI can do is it can, at the beginning of the process, it can help you write the requirements. It can review those requirements to try and help you make sure you avoid exceptions or errors that were not thought of. So one of the things it can do at the beginning is it could read the requirements before you write the software or as it's being written, and it could come up with scenarios, and it could also identify risks, which I think Sammy showed. And one of the risks might be performance or security, things, or error handling, things that were not thought of. And we found actually when we asked our testers to look at what Inflectra AI generated, particularly the risks and even some of the tests, there were two main things they found. One is it obviously made it faster, like Roland said, makes it faster, which is great. But more important than the speed, it found two risks that they didn't think about. It found two tests they didn't think about. So if an error had happened in production, maybe we would have caught that before. Now I said about the journey, what I hope where we want to be by next year would be where we can ingest production data. Sanitize, obviously from a security standpoint, if we can start to ingest production data, things coming back in from customer support, maybe we can start to see trends before they do get serious and potentially remediate things. Now that's not where we are. It doesn't do that today, so don't ask for a demo, but that's where we want it to go, is to start looking at that wider set of data, including production data, performance, monitoring. I mean, monitoring and testing are the same thing, except one's in production. So I really think there's opportunities there to really improve that. I think it's a really good question. I think we've got to stop thinking of testing as being what we do before we go live. Testing and quality is a continuum. When we go live and we're in production, we're testing. We're in quality. I mean, think of CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike took out the entire Windows ecosystem overnight after it got in production. No one had a rollback strategy. That's a failure in testing if you think about it. Because no one had ever thought to, well, if all the machines go down and they drop off the network, how do we actually go in and install the update? Oh, whoops. So, again, testing covers everything, not just test before the application goes live, in my opinion.
And to add to that also, and I noticed while I was actively a tester, in most organizations you find out that the support function when your code gets into production is somewhat different. Like you have the group that will test, roll things into production, and once it gets into production, there's a support function there, and that support function also has their own QA team. So meaning a lot of times the issues you find in production rarely ever make their way back to the testing team that actually found it. And in some instances, there were situations where there was a different defect management tool, like a support tool, for what's happening in production. When your customers call in and they actually find an issue.
Sami, can you take that? Sami, can you take that? Okay, Adam, so the question is AI...
It is.
Take that? Okay,
It is.
take that? Okay, AI is code generated. Adam, can you hear me?
Yeah, so is the question, did we use AI to write Inflectra AI? Is that the question?
No, the question is Inflectra AI saved
Yeah.
from AI code generated? Adam, can you hear
So
me?
yeah.
Saved
Yeah.
from AI code generated vulnerability.
So Inflectra AI, well, Inflectra AI, as I mentioned, right now it's primarily generating natural language. It's mostly generating, it's also able to generate automated testing scripts, and it can also generate natural language tests that our automation tool can play back using AI to do the testing. So instead of having to maintain a test script, AI writes the scenario that we can, human readable in English or other natural language, and then it can play that back using AI. You don't have to have any code whatsoever. It can be completely natural language.
Adam,
yeah.
Let me ask you the question in a different way. Can we trust Inflectra AI to give us a solution that we can deploy, or can we use Inflectra AI and we trust that there are no vulnerabilities left unchecked?
Okay, I see. You can trust there's no vulnerabilities in.
Or can we use Inflectra AI and we trust that there are no vulnerabilities left unchecked?
Okay, I see. You can trust there's no vulnerability. You can't get customer data or your data. It itself is secure, and we've put a lot of work into doing that. None of the data is used to train the model. All the prompts are designed to be temporary. Nothing stays in the session context. So again, we've designed everything to be temporal in time, so that nothing lives long, so it could be hacked. But again, you have to be careful with AI, because you could use AI to write software code using Inflectra AI, and that code is not being vulnerability scanned. If you could use AI to write software code using Inflectra AI, and that code is not being vulnerability scanned. If it writes code for you, you need to use a security scanning tool to obviously check that code. And I think in general, if one AI writes something, you should have a separate, different AI always check it. I think that's just a good best practice for anything you're doing with AI.
Thank you, Adam. Next question, please.
All right, Adam. Thank you for. Odolade, I work with data analysis and data asset management in IHS Towers. So my question is directly from Isdemon, the Inflectra AI platform. So my question is, does Inflectra AI have all the data? I'm talking in terms of the QA testers' experience with the platform. Does it have all the data to be fully integrated with new programming language, new frameworks like JavaScript, Next.js, especially when you're developing a software with that framework and you're deploying to the cloud, can inflectual area detect errors in newer programming languages, frameworks like Next.js, like and inflectual area detect errors in new programming language software? Does it have the data to detect errors and
I can answer that question if that's okay. Now, first of all, inflectual AI's focus right now is not fixing coding language errors. We're not working at that level. We're working more at the requirements of the system level. We're also working at test automation level. But if I answer the question about AI in general, maybe that's a better answer, because there are a lot of tools that we integrate with that use AI for developer coding. If you were to use something like Visual Studio Code and Claude, and that's some of the models that we're using, the latest Claude models are generally fairly up to date with the most recent languages, TypeScript, Node.js, the latest version of Python. But there's always going to be a problem where maybe you're using something that's so new that AI does not know about it. And that's where we're going to start seeing this new thing called, that I mentioned earlier, agentic AI. Because what agentic AI says is, the large language model, which is when we think of AI, we're thinking of a large language model. Well, that has ingested all this information over a period of time when it was trained, but it might have been trained a year ago. What if it's, a language that came out a month ago? It won't know about that. So the key is agentic AI lets AIs use things called MCP servers to go out and get real-time information today, this second. And that's how these AI agents are going to become so much more smarter than the AI we've been used to, because they're going to get real-time information right from the moment you ask it. I think that's the big advance we're seeing.
All right, thank you, Adam.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. My name is Shegun Phillips from Unit Trust Insurance. So my question is on, okay, this is actually a real life scenario. I have a core application. I mean, used by, I think, about 20 insurance companies in Nigeria. And because of the OS, I mean, became outdated, and because of vulnerability and all of that, we had to change the OS. Now, after the migration, so we discovered that a whole lot of functionalities stopped working. You see broken codes and all of that. So, my question is going straight into making sure the old code or the changes made to the code does not affect what has been working before. So I want to ask, does your solution, any of your solution at all, or maybe speaking from AI perspective now, how can it reduce the time spent on regression testing? So.
Well, I mean, it almost sounds like very fundamental QA or quality assurance thing to do, which is having a regression bed that you have, you've identified those test cases that you're going to run to ascertain that what worked before still works, right? And then automating those so that you can have iterations of them that, to help reduce your cycle. So my game plan would have been to identify those key functionality that I know the business will want to make sure, the lights are on once you go live, and have those be fully automated. So in that way, you're able to run them. You have iterations of running them, at intervals to make sure that what's working before hasn't been broken. And then when issues are found, that those are the first set of cases that you want to actually execute to make sure the lights are still on. And you'll know very quickly when things are broken. Does that help answer your question? Okay. And those are usually your first candidates for automation anyway. That in your shop, that your regression bed is fully automated and that you can very, very quickly execute them as you move from one environment to the other.
All right.
I think we can take just...
Yes, the last question.
Just one question.
That's the last question.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Sylvester, and I'm a test automation engineer. I work with Kuda Bank. I'm really particular about inflectual AI as regards to my work. Over the past month, we've been working on writing test scripts for automation testing API. and we've been able to deploy these test scripts to CI/CD pipeline using Azure DevOps. For me, I'm particular about test automation and maintenance. I have two questions. The first one is, how does Inflectra AI undo flaky tests or identify areas of automation scripts that can frequently fail due to flaky tests or can frequently fail due to UI changes? Then the second question is, can Inflectra AI be used to reduce test suite execution time by identifying redundant or...
All right, thank you.
Adam, did you get that?
Yeah, I got that one. Yeah, I think that probably makes sense for me to answer. This is actually a relatively easy answer, I think. Yes, the Inflectra AI suite, including our automation tool Rapise, includes the ability to ingest test results from lots and lots of multiple runs. We are using a technique called RAG, or retrieval augmented generation. It's an AI term you're probably familiar with. And what that means is we get all the test results back in from automation, from our CI/CD pipeline. They go to Spira, and then we can actually analyze them. And we can, one, find the flaky tests for you, and two, we can draw a heat map, and we can show you where the problems are, where the issues are, and help you identify them.
Thank you, Adam. Please, the audience.
You're welcome.
Anybody has any other different question entirely? No, thank you. Tori, over to you.
Thank you so much. That was a very insightful session. So now let's go to the next agenda of the evening. Thank you, Mr. Roland. Thank you, Sammy. And thank you, our moderator. That was a very smooth panel session. So I would have to make you all leave your seats. I need you to recognize the person to your right, to your left. This is a quick networking session. So please, each of the participants, starting with you, I would need you to reach out to 5 people in the audience, introduce yourself, let them know what you do, what's interesting about your work, who you are. So to kickstart this session, I would like to introduce myself again. My name is Tori Shaju Ogbe. At work, they call me Tori. I am the senior growth digital strategist at Pulse Africa. I know a lot of you know Pulse. Like you guys would say, that blog. Oh, it's beyond that. We're an integrated media house, and I do interesting things with the sales and the marketing side of things. It's an amazing place to work. And well, I wouldn't tell you to come and work, but things with the sales and the marketing side of things. It's an amazing place to work. But please, let's get to know each other. I have my card, so I'm sure you have your cards with you. We just have 15 minutes. 5 Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. I hope it was a warm networking session. Hi, my brother in the face cap. How many cards did you get this evening?
I mean what?
How many cards have you exchanged this evening?
Just one.
Just one. Ah, that's a very low KPI. Okay, can we be seated, please? Thank you so much. Now, for our next panel session on cybersecurity, again, let's have on stage our moderator, Mr. Daniel Iank. Again, let's have on stage our moderator, Mr. Daniel. Thank you, Mr. Daniel. With AI, I will be calling on the person, Mr. Mayokun Odusete. I hope I got that right. Mr. Mayokun is the founder of Edolite Consulting, a tech company empowering businesses and youths with innovative cybersecurity and IT solution. With a background in electrical and electronic engineering, he transitioned into tech entrepreneurship, launching Edolites to deliver software development, business intelligence, and enterprise cybersecurity in partnership with Bitdefender. Mayokun leads initiatives like LearnStation, 205 Ideas to promote tech skills among youth. A passionate cybersecurity advocate, he drives awareness and protection strategies for businesses while mentoring thousands of learners on platforms like Udemy. Mayokun's work blends technical expertise with a strong vision for digital transformation across Africa. Thank you for joining us this evening, Mr. Mayokun. I hope I pronounced that name right. Odusete. Odushote. That's heavy. Thank you for joining us. Our moderator, please lead the way.
Thank you so much, Tori. Is there supposed to be another panelist?
Let's take a look at that. Oh, okay. Sorry for that omission. And our second panelist, the one and only Mr. Roland Omoresemi. Please join us on stage. Okay.
Welcome, sir. Okay, so to start this section, this is a panel I'm excited about. Mr. Odusote, founder of Edolite, he's Tezza's technical partner on cybersecurity. Going straight into it. So Bitcoin's underlying blockchain technology has never been hacked. This means that the blockchain technology has never been hacked. This means that the Bitcoin protocol itself has remained 9. However, services and individual users have been compromised. We remember the 2019 Binance, they lost up to 7,000 BTC, worth around $40 million US. We remember MT Cox in 2014, they lost up to 850,000 BTC. 450 million in worth dollars. Mr. Odushote, let me quickly ask you a question around cybersecurity. Where do you see cybersecurity in Nigeria and in Africa today? What are the trends?
Okay, thank you for that question. Talking about cybersecurity, it's a big matter that we always want to talk about it, but we don't usually want to take the right actions. And I mean, for people that are in this hall, and you heard what Mr. Rowland have said passionately from the testing side, I mean, the key decision maker will not allow you guys to actually do what you're supposed to do. And like he asked the other time, I'm saying this just to bring in the ideas of cybersecurity. He said, as a QA tester, can you say this product should not go to production? Just one person said he can say that. And that's the same thing happening. So when it comes to Africa, the first stage is, first of all, understanding the compliance aspect of it. Why do we have to have a secure system? Two things, it's a big matter, is the commercial aspect of it. Every business wants to start running and start making money. And usually, we are not totally security conscious in the sense that we feel, there's nobody that's going to hack us. We just started. A tech startup. We just started. Who want to hack us? I've seen that. I've spoken with clients before and say, oh, no, who want to hack us? How much are we? You get what I'm trying to say? But as you begin to grow, you now discover that if you want to now have, you want to put in place a security infrastructure, you discover that you have to still go back to the foundation. So, two things for Africa and Nigeria. The cybersecurity landscape is emerging. Now there's a great awareness. People are getting to know that, there's a big problem, right? We're sitting on, in fact, with the advent of AI, now I'd say AI as a tiger or a baby tiger that today you are feeding with milk, but years down the line, what's your plan for it? Are you going to put it in a cage when you start demanding meat, or you make it to stay in your parlor? At that time, what will happen when this baby tiger grows to become an adult tiger? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'd like to go to Roland, and I'm going to ask, how can software testing or testers integrate security testing into their existing QA workflows?
Well, I think every organization, as part of the construct for testing, there are just certain types of tests you must perform within the life cycle. So in addition to your functional test, before you make it out of UAT, you should have at least performed series of security testing. At the very least, that you're at least doing a scan of your code to make sure that known vulnerabilities don't exist, right? Most organizations would also have a testing function, a security vetting or security testing department within their IT function. And I think a lot of times when knowledgeable testers advocate for security testing within the testing construct, most companies will say, well, that's not your business because we have a security testing team that handles it, right? So half of the time, the security testing team, they look more around they'll run scans, don't get me wrong, but I think we miss out on the opportunity to have this multi-layered approach to quality where security itself is a mainstay within the testing domain. So a lot of what I've seen, especially here in Africa, will be people that will tell you, well, the bank has a team that is responsible for security testing, or the telcos will tell you, we have a team that is responsible for security testing. But meanwhile, within our own testing domain, your software testing team should have a segment within the life cycle that is dedicated to security testing before the code even gets to UAT or before it leaves UAT for production.
All right, thank you. Mr. Odushote, I understand that you are an expert in cybersecurity, so I'm going to ask you this for the for the benefit of the audience. What do you consider the most critical security risks that QA teams often miss during functional testing? And how does you, as a cybersecurity expert, or your solution and service address that?
Okay, thank you. I'll answer this question this way, and also also shed more light on what you asked him earlier, if you permit me. Okay, I'm going to just talk about, like you introduced me as a technical partner with Tezza. I mean, we've been doing something with Tezza since 2019. And one of the solutions we push to businesses, I mean, you probably will know, Bit Defender. So what role would that play for you during QA testing? So there's something, typically for QA testers, you know that every application has a behavior. The moment an application is doing something that is against its typical behavior, you know there's a problem. So what it means is maybe there's a malicious code or something that's entering into that system. So imagine your Excel is running like a PowerShell and is sending signal to an unknown server. What happens? So that's a behavioral abnormality. So during QA testing with solutions like Big Defender, you can have what we call the anomaly detector, right? That's in your sandbox. So you have that environment set up, right? As you're running your test, it's AI powered, is understanding and learning the behavior of your application, right? So even when you get into production, so I'm talking from the security point of view, behavior of your application, right? So even when you get into production, so I'm talking from the security point of view, once there's something irregular from the tip, I'm talking from security point of view, it detects it. So what happens when it does the detection? And the AI powered abnormality detection is not just about what it has learned from your application, is what is also learning globally. Once it detects it, it takes action before you even know it, but it just tell you it has taken action. So what it does is it detects, it responds. So it stops such action. So coming to that question, so during QA testing, the security aspect is you're able to deploy meaningful tool that gives you the security confidence to push that product to production. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I understand that this is a happy hour, so very soon we need to be happy, eating and enjoying. So I'm going to ask two more questions, then allow the audience to ask some questions. Mr. Roland, with the rise of AI, how do you see cyber threat evolving, and how can defenders stay ahead?
So when you have deep fakes, you have someone that can speak with my Nigerian accent in the US. You have things that could mimic my behavior. And you can do that now with so much ease, and you require little or no technology capabilities to do so much and cause so much damage. It's actually scary. Every single day there's a threat, that you're dealing with, and being able to determine what that threat is and quantify it and address it in real time. I think every organization really needs to be scared. Like in the US, for example, in any given day, I'm getting hundreds of calls that literally look like my own telephone number coming through from telemarketers. Not just that, now I'll get text messages that are simulated as if they're coming from the government, and the minute I click on them, they're able to literally wipe my account out, my bank account out. Multiple times now while I'm here in Nigeria, my accounts in the US, basically my banks are writing to me telling me, hey, did you make this transaction? So it's like your heart will come right to your mouth because you see the amount that someone just spent in California, So so much is a risk, especially as we have tools that are supposed to make our lives easier. Other people are exploring them to make lives hell for us. So there's so much emphasis I think organization needs to place on security validation of their solutions. And Bitdefender, and I asked for you guys to look it up. There are multiple ways to skin a cat. Not saying that these are the only tools, Inflectra and Bitdefenders. I'm not saying these are the only tools that you can use for the validation of your applications, but these are the solutions that we believe in, that we use, that we're partners with. And it's always helpful also in areas where we don't have those core capabilities. We have partners like Mario Kun, who we've known over the years, to ensure that we have local support here in Nigeria, so we're not having to rely on having to call people globally to get help here. So for everything we do, we try to make sure that we can actually do them here. Our testers, we have a training academy in Magodo where we train people, house them for 3 months, feed them, teach them how to actually test, not just learn by watching YouTube, but that they truly, and some of them actually, some of you that, if you went through our academy, can you raise your hand if you're here? So we have folks that actually went through our academy that are here, who have been at MTN or other places, and some that we've worked with since the 2012 that we've been here. So Bit Defender, whether it was Inflectra, whether it was HP back in the day, whether it was Neoload from performance testing, we've always just found ways to partner with solution providers that I think add value, and then we find technical partners locally to enable us to be able to support the companies that we work with, so that you're not spending a whole lot of money and time dealing with overseas for tools that you use here locally.
Thank you so much.
Hey, you're welcome.
How it's going to influence future cybersecurity?
Okay, that's a big question. It will take us the whole day to look at that. So I'm going to answer the impossible to run that on a blockchain on a blockchain system. It's quite impossible. So does that mean everybody should Now that becomes a controversial topic to look at. So in terms of security, you tend to feel more secured on a blockchain environment or a system that is powered by a blockchain technology than the regular ones that we've been using over the years. Thank you.
Thank you. Was that a mouthful? So we are going to go straight to the audience shortly. If you have questions for this panel, please could you just indicate? And if you also have questions for the previous panel as well, just quickly indicate before we close. So questions now, please. Any question?
Okay, so the first question from our audience in the live stream, particularly from LinkedIn. The question is, can agentic AI ever replace RPA processes?
Can anyone on this panel answer that question? I think that question is for the previous panel. That's an Adam's question. Is Adam still online?
So, can Sammy take it? Okay. Can agentic AI ever replace RPA process?
So I would say AI, AI, extensively progresses robotic process automation, which is your RPA. RPA is a form of, a really good form of how AI can help us from a testing perspective. So like automating basic processes, routine processes, manual processes. So it's almost like saying, what are ways for AI to be utilized within QA? And I could say RPA or robotic process automation. I hope that makes sense. Like, it's one of the ways, yeah.
Okay, I think Adam already answered that question. So just looking at it now, UiPath and other RPA vendors are adding agentic AI to their offerings, or they will be obsolete. Okay, from our audience in the house, any questions? Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Tajuddin Onikoi. I work with FinTechs Software. I'm actually here on two caps. I'm here to represent the president of NGSTQB as the director of membership and community growth of NGSTQB. And also I'm the head of quality assurance department, FinTechs Software. So speaking to the issues that has to do with cybersecurity or cyber attack, I want to know if, currently what is common is monolithic way of ensuring you drive your product to the market, speaking to software now. Do you think adopting microservices, that is disintegrating your whole application to ensure that no single individual or two or three has knowledge of this product, do you think it can be a way to keep the information safe, thereby making it not escapable to the threats of the cyber attackers?
Okay, thank you for your question. So that approach, it's more of internal IT governance matter. I mean, it has nothing to do whether an attacker can get it or not, right? I mean, whether it's only just one person has access to have access to this part of an application, or just few people. Once there are attack surface, what do I mean by attack surface? That means points at which an attacker can get in. If those doors are not locked, right? For instance, patch management. If all of those things are not there, I mean, even if just one single person have access to it, and the person is somewhere that no other person can see him, I mean, the attack can come in. So the issue would be, how do we protect ourselves? So it's the method or the governance or the IT governance implemented by the organization really does not matter whether it's one person. Then come to think of it, if you're developing, there are libraries we use. I mean, if there are developers here, there are free libraries you use, right? Some of use, I mean, if there are developers, right? Some of these libraries during QI testing, usually because of the speed, they majorly want to focus on what? Performance and usability. And you take security off it, right? So if all of those things are not put in place, or you're not using solutions that help you to manage patch management, let me just keep it simple. Imagine you built a house. Over time, the paint will start fading, holes, and all of those things. What happened? Rodents can come in. So, I mean, a system is secured now does not mean it's secured forever. So, in terms of having one person, two person managing something, it's just internal IT governance. But security is to implement either services or solution to keep you secured. It could be an XDR, it could be a MDR. Now, MDR means manage detection response, which company like Tezza can offer. Or an XDR, you use an XDR solution that detects and responds to attack, even if there's a surface you don't know. So once the attack is about coming in, responds to attack, even if there's a surface you don't know. So once the attack is about coming in, your XDR is there to respond. It could just lock up an aspect of the application that nothing was going to move. Your application goes back to production. I hope I answered that your question.
Before we say that all, before we close, I'd like to ask you just one more question, and it is about the emerging cybersecurity technology or trends that you see or that you're currently deploying to help people with their cybersecurity solutions or problems.
Okay, thank you so much. Like I said earlier, we at Edilite Consulting, we will partner with Tezza Business Solution as the technical partner to deploy cybersecurity solution. One of our key partners for us is Bitdefender. I mean, if anybody is in this room that is in the cybersecurity industry, you know them. So why Bitdefender? The typical thing is these are AI-powered solutions. So I'm just going to talk about a few. So there are three aspects to protection, to making sure that you have a secured solution or a secured environment. You have prevention. Prevention typically device control, well filter, and all of those things. Then we have protection. I mean, the typical antivirus or anti-malware, anti-ransom mitigation, and all of those things. Then you now have the other part, which is the detection and response, which starts with things like which starts with anomalies detection and all of those things. So I'm going to make another example. So this is a case of, how many of you know DocSign? This programming, I mean, the DocSign, I mean, you want to sign a contract, you don't have to see. Now, if you look at the current trend, imagine you receive an email and it's from DocSign and you don't have an email security. For instance, you think it's from a client, you want to sign a contract. Actually, from the email, I mean, it's olden days that these attackers will send you mail, you see grammatical error, you'll be able to say, oh, this one, I'm too sure it's not. You'll see those emails well written, because now this AI will write their mails for them, well written emails, right? So once those things come in, if you don't have an email security, which most companies don't think about until they fall victim, you probably have heard CFO having issues, right? Or you send an invoice. By the time the invoice is getting to the other person, the person is seeing a different account details, not the account detail you send with it. So the typical thing is you get a phishing email, it could be, and it will come from a reliable platform, right? You click on it, then you have multiple redirect. Now, you can only get protected from distance if you have AI security implemented within your environment. And not only that, another thing is awareness. I mean, which most companies don't do. The first thing to protecting anything is to create awareness against the attacker. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my panelists. I think that is the end of this panel.
This panel session. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayo. And so please just hold on. Please come right back. Mr. Sami, please join us on stage to take a quick photo. Where's the photographer? So Adam will be joining us virtually. So let's create a space for Adam. Okay. Right. All right, thank you so much. Thank you again, panelists and moderator, for an insightful session. I trust we've gotten something, we're walking away with some knowledge. And yeah, so moving to the last agenda, vote of thanks by Yinka Adekoya, Tezza Country Manager, Nigeria. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I believe you've been having a wonderful time so far. So, on behalf of everyone at Tezza Business Solutions, we want to sincerely thank you for your presence here today. Thank you for attending
Whether you're managing a predict
Software and IT Specialist Happy Hour. This event was designed not just to be another industry gathering, but it was a space to share ideas, connect, and reflect on the innovations and the challenges shaping our IT ecosystem. And we are so glad that you have helped us bring that vision to life today. Thank you very much. To our speakers, thank you for your time, the clarity, and the insightful knowledge that you have passed on today. We are truly, truly grateful. Thank you very much. And of course, to our attendees and our guests, we are very grateful, because without you, we can't have an event. And thank you for gracing us with your presence. Thank you for, the engagement. Thank you for the unique experiences you have brought to the conversations. Thank you for your questions. We are so grateful. To our partners and our sponsors, we can't have an event without your support. Inflectra, TechPoint, and so many other sponsors that we had. Thank you very much. We are very grateful. And of course, my team, the organizers who have pulled this off. Thank you for the sleepless nights some of you have had. We are so grateful. Thank you very much. Wrapping up today, we hope that you have gained, fresh ideas, new connections, I believe, and of course, fresh inspiration that you can take back to your team and project. We don't expect this to end here. Let's get the conversations going in your companies, in your communities, and of course, future events that we are going to, organize. So, thank you very much. We wish you safe travels back to your respective homes, and please enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yinka. So to wrap up the evening, we will be going to another appetizer, cocktail, and networking session. So please, to your left, just by the entrance, you would see the cocktail stand. Please try to refresh and continue the networking. And don't be like that, my brother. Please get more cards. You never know. You never know. All right. I remain Tori. Do enjoy the evening and have a safe trip back home. Yeah, cheers. Bye.
Hi, my name's Adam, and I'm going to talk to you today about SpiraTest. SpiraTest is our revolutionary test management tool. It helps you manage your requirements, your test cases, your defects in one integrated QA suite. It has amazing, beautiful, rich dashboards and reports that makes managing your project's quality super easy. Let me go show you how. This is SpiraTest, our requirements test and defect management system. SpiraTest gives you end-to-end traceability from your requirements through to your test cases and your defects, all in one system. Let's see how it works. When you first come into SpiraTest, you will see an integrated dashboard like this one that shows you your requirements information, your test case coverage, and your defects, all in one integrated dashboard in a single pane of glass. And you can see the traceability from those requirements through to the tests, all the way to the defects and backwards. So if I can see, for example, here, these are my requirements that have the most defects. I can trace them back to which requirements they relate to. Inside of SpiraTest, you've got a single workspace to manage all these different projects. And for each of the projects, you can manage the requirements in a simple, easy to use hierarchical organization. For each requirement, you can see the test coverage, the priority, and other key attributes. You can even show and hide columns and customize your views. When you go into the testing side of things, you can manage test cases, both manual tests and automated tests in the same system. If we drill down onto a test case, you can see the coverage in reverse from this requirement and test case in end to end. If we drill down a little bit further, you can see for every test case, we've got the ability to manage test steps and test parameters so you can do data-driven testing. When you run the test, they get put into test sets, which is the organization for scheduling. I can have different tests scheduled for different times for different people or different machines. And when the tests execute, they do run and create test runs. They're then archived in the test run management section. And then when the tests run, sometimes unfortunately there are failures, and those failures will appear here in the incident tracking section. And the incident tracking section is a full bug tracking system that you can use to manage all of the bugs, issues, and defects in your system, or you can integrate with your favorite bug tracker as well, if you prefer. Once that's happened, you can of course track the progress of your testing activities right here in the report center. In the report center, you can generate real-time analytics with our graphs and charts, or you can generate documents and reports, PDFs, traceability matrices, whatever you need to give your executives and stakeholders their key information. Either way, with SpiraTest, you have quality at your fingertips. Thanks so much for watching today. To learn more about Inflectra and our solutions, please go to www.inflectra.com. Thanks and have a great day.